Guys, from everything that I've read, this might be the best hire that Indiana have made. Like, obviously, Kelly Krauskopf is huge, but from everything I've read, this appears to be an absolutely unbelievable hire. Like, if you want to listen to how people have talked about Amber Cox, like, Dallas Wings fans are, like, devastated she's gone. They're absolutely devastated that she's no longer there, like, working in that organization. And to be honest, great for the Fever. That is absolutely fantastic for the Fever that you've got somebody that is of like a really, really, really high level, working in the front office as a GM. Because look, Lynn Dunn is Lynn Dunn is not. She did not do a good job as GM. She drafted Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston. That is like the only quote unquote good thing that Lynn Dunn did. Maybe, you know what? Sorry, bringing in Tammy Figbenley. I'll give Tammy Figbenley. And if you agree with that, subscribe. We're trying to overtake, that other podcast. And I'm saying this right now. The day that we overtake that other podcast, I will launch the Troll Unapologetically Mick podcast. And I'm saying that right now. That is a promise. It might only be one episode, but if we subscribe and get enough, the Unapologetically Mick podcast might come out. But yeah. So let's take a look. So you can say here, this is huge for the Fever and have implications. A thread below on takeaways and what I like to see, just from Sports News HQ. Christy Sides can't be the coach. I do not see Christy Sides staying on as coach. Everyone being like, oh, but like she did well, you gotta keep her. The Toronto Raptors don't win that ring with Dwayne Casey. They fired him and they replaced him with Nick Nurse. They won the ring. I'm sorry. If you can't get it done, you can be fired. Doesn't matter if your team have been good. If you cannot get it done, if you're not going to be the coach to push this team over the edge, go. You're gone. Which Christy Sides isn't. Christy Sides genuinely is just not at all. Not at all is she good enough to be the coach. She has strong Indiana roots and has appreciation and existing connecting the Fever organization. She'll get the best out of Caitlin to maximize player talent. I think more so what she's very good at is the promotion side. From what I've heard, she's really good at the promotion side. She's really good at getting the fans engaged. I think Kelly Krauskopf is going to make most of the basketball decisions. If I was to have a guess, I think that she is being hired to basically turn the Indiana Fever into the Lakers of, obviously not in LA, but the Lakers of the WNBA. To turn the Indiana Fever into like the most marketable women's sports team in the history of women's sports. I think that's what she's brought in for. I think she's brought in as much as anything to take advantage of the stardom of Caitlin Clark, and as well as making sure that they continue to have the best everything possible. Like, she's chief operating officer, best everything possible for the sold out crowds that you're going to get for all the next season. And because you've got to. The problem is that the Valkyries, I think, are going to be doing the same thing. The Valkyries are going to have a superb, are going to be superb in that regard. So they're going to do the exact same thing. So it says here, the defense will automatically improve. The defense will improve if Christy Sides is gone. With a Stephanie White or Sandy Brownlow, you're not getting Sandy Brownlow. You're not getting Stephanie White. Like, they're not getting rid of them. If the Fever find a way to get Neko or Satu, Aerial Powers for sixth woman is going to be an overpay. Odyssey Sims backup point guard. I don't know if she wants to be a backup point guard. Kelsey Mitchell is obviously going to get her 1 year. The 5-year plan Chris Lindon and Linside are referencing was for their own security. And I agree with that. They keep... Jesus, that is Cheryl Reeve. That is the wrong video clip we're talking about. But as the wrong person. You know what? If we could get Cheryl Reeve. And it says the Fever are 100% built to win now. Christy Sides will single-handedly hold her back. I agree. I fully agree that Christy Sides, that this team, they're not, they are not built to win a championship right now. But what they are built to do is get to a semi-final. Get to a finals. There is anything less than making the finals, I think, should be a disappointment for the Indiana Fever next year. Coming into next year, assuming improvement in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and assuming a better roster, the only teams that I would be like, okay, yeah, they're better than the Indiana Fever are the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx. There is no excuse for the Fever to be worse than the Sun next year. There is no excuse for the Fever to be worse than the Aces next year. There is no excuse whatsoever for the Fever to not be a top 4 team in the regular season and to not just win a playoff series. Like, if they lose in the first round again next year, it is so disappointing. And the problem is, I think you will never win a best 2 out of 3 with Christy Sides. And I'll stand by that. Yes, if you play a team that sucks, you can. She is one of the worst in-game adjustment coaches. There's a difference between playoff coaches and regular season coaches, and there's a difference between head coaches and assistant coaches. Christy Sides isn't even a regular season coach. She is an assistant coach. There's a difference between head and assistant coaches. And there's a reason why. Like, she's a good one. I think she's very, very good at some aspects of coaching. She's just, you can even hear, like, if you've ever heard everyone praise Christy Sides, like, even the players that like her, like, Aaliyah Boston obviously really likes her. There are a lot of players that really like Christy Sides. Never has any of them ever said anything good about her ability to coach basketball. Like, everything is about Christy Sides, the person. They all really like Christy Sides. No Fever player, no one other than Lynn Dunn. And by the way, Lynn Dunn has never praised Christy Sides' ability to coach the game of basketball. All Lynn Dunn says is, you know, she's adaptable. She's always trying to learn. She's always trying to get better. Even Lynn Dunn won't say a good word about Christy Sides' ability to coach the sport of basketball. So she's got to go. But the whole thing is that you have now got a president who is an NBA level employee. You have now got Amber Cox, who's basically completed women's sports, who the Dallas Wings, even on a bad season, the Dallas Wings credit her with the success of the Wings recently, who almost certainly has a good relationship with Satu, who might be able to bring Satu in. If she can bring Satu in, oh my God. Like, but she probably has a good relationship with Satu. She's somebody that is going to be so important for this team. And also, a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, she's, they just can't be good next year. I'm sorry. The Dallas Wings brought in Uzun last year. And I get it. Like, she wasn't anything special, but she was one of the best point guards in Turkey last year. There is no question about it that you can start to look elsewhere. You can start to look to Europe. You can start to look to Turkey. You can look to the players playing over there. And you can bring those players in. Like, for people saying, like, oh, why would you look to Europe, man? Leonie Fibiches grow on trees. They don't grow on trees, but there are more than one of them. And you can bring in Katorla. You can bring in, you can try to bring in Emma Mesaman, obviously. Like, even as a backup, like, you were cool with backup centers. But, like, if I was bringing in, like, a Linskins as a backup center could do the job, too. Like, not for the Fever, because we don't need that. But there are players, they exist. And, like, if I'm her, I go for Janelle Salone. I think Janelle Salone, if you lose Satu, I think Janelle Salone is the perfect power forward. She can play the 3 through 5. She defends, she runs, she shoots. And we saw her at the Olympics. She can be a team player. Like, and she's going to cost less than, she's going to be on the minimum rookie deal. And she might come over because she's playing in Italy. I go to bring Janelle Salone in. I get it, Eurobasket the thing. Screw that. They're back for the playoffs. They miss a chunk in the middle of the season. Cool, you might get a worse seeding. It is what it is. But every team's going to have a problem. Whoever has Maureen Johannes is going to have a problem with that. But whoever has both the Sableys are going to have a problem with that. Whoever has Julie Van Loo is going to have a problem with that. Whoever attempts to bring in Emma Mason, Eurobasket's Eurobasket. So it's a problem for a lot of teams. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. She's going to change everything. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.